All right, Leos, welcome to your weekly horoscope for May of 2015. My name is Athen. So let's jump right into your chart here. This is your chart for May. Let me go and back up. We're having the full moon here on the 3rd, which is the first major event here of the month, which is in your 3rd house here. So your 3rd house is getting highlighted, and you had the new moon over here in your 9th last month, which was about the life path and about philosophy and expansion and travel, anything that opens you up, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally, or physically through traveling, is the 9th house. And so whatever news sort of transpired in that particular area, maybe it's from reading philosophy or traveling or whatever, you have a highlight of a culmination point this month here on the 3rd, culminating a lot of those things. Okay, so it can be a high point for a lot of those things. And relating to the 3rd house is about the practical wisdom, the practical understanding. So see how you can bring in, maybe if it is philosophical or spiritual, how you can bring in the practical side of it. Or if it is through, broadcasting or traveling or, having connections abroad, making connections abroad, it's how you can make it into your routine, take care of the day-to-day activities. For example, like traveling, it's very important. Though there's all this expansion happening to make sure you're finding enough time to eat and all these kinds of things relating to the daily activity. So that's exactly what you want to balance here. Around that full moon is balance the expansive with the more practical, the right side of the brain with the left side of the brain, that sort of stuff. And another thing too about this moon here, this full moon, is that it's a culmination of 6 months ago. For those of you who started anything relating to the 3rd house 6 months ago, which is the writing, teaching, sharing, exchanging information, anything that is about either thinking or communicating, can be a high point for you. So if it's a course, if it's something like that, it can be a high point. So that's good to know. So that's what's kicking off the month here, is that full moon in the 3rd house. Nice location for the moon too. Moon likes to be at the bottom of the chart. So let's go ahead and look at the next event here. On the 6th, we have Venus changing signs. She's going into that 11th house of yours. And so this is about friends and groups and network circles. So with Venus, enjoy your friends, groups, and network circles this month. She's going to be there for the entirety of the month from the 7th onward. And this is all about relationships. It's all about connecting. It's all about the simple pleasures and enjoyment. So if it's not groups related, then it can also be maybe income through your work. That can be highlighted with Venus in there. That could be quite nice. It can also be the satisfaction of your work and giving and contributing in general, which can also be through your work, but just giving and contributing in general, you'll find very enjoyable with Venus in this area. And your 10th house is actually the one that's really getting activated this month. The 10th house is the house of career, of work, of public-related things, of your legacy. You're already thinking about it all month and last month with Mercury transiting that 10th. And so now what we have is we have Mars shifting in there on the 10th, which is the next major event here. So when Mars enters around the 10th, I think you're definitely going to feel the motivation to get things done in regards to the work or career or public related level. Whereas you were thinking about it before, now you're motivated by it. And this is, by the way, very nice placement for Mars. He is in a neutral sign, but he's at the top of your chart, the 10th house, which is Mars's ideal locations, where Mars loves to be on the top. So your motivation should be very high this month in general, and next month too. But a lot of it is relating to the work and public related things. So utilize that energy. It's there. I think you're already going to be motivated by it. Find that middle path with it and work with it because it's there. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of activity in your 10th. Mercury's going to go retrograde, and we have a new moon. So let's go and look at the events. On the on the 17th, we've got the new moon happening right on the cusp. It's happening right on the cusp of your 9th house and your 10th house. So essentially, you already have the new moon in your 9th. Sometimes we have 2 new moons in the same house. So it's right on the cusp, which means it's going to be a little bit of the 9th house. So I think there's still more new beginnings involving those 9th house matters. But it's also new beginnings involving the 10th house matters. So again, work, career, public related things. So reflect around this time in those 2 areas. okay, around the 18th and 19th during that, around the 17th during that new moon. And then you'll really be understanding it. I mean, the understanding is an internal understanding. And then as the moon starts to fill up a few days after, be more and more action, more and more energy for you to pursue these new beginnings, whatever it is transpiring. But we really want to reflect around that time. So reflect on both the 9th and the 10th house things. Can be some new beginnings here for you in that area as well, in both of those areas. Then on the 18th and 19th, we've got Mercury going retrograde in that 10th house. So there are some things you got to work on or redo or rehash involving your career or work or public related things. So with the Mercury retrograde, you know, oftentimes a lot of people say don't do anything, don't sign any contracts, all this stuff. Mercury, you just want to make sure you're treating it as a learning process when he's retrograde. Reflect on it, be willing to redo, rehash, rework, and make changes. And that's what we want to do. It's a 3-week transit. It's going to be also the beginning of June as well. So work with it. You want to take action. You want to be willing, you know, you want to do it. You want to make it practical. You want to actually take those steps, because that's how we learn. We learn through experience, and that's what Mercury shows us. So do it in that way where you're double checking, you know, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, all that kind of stuff, of course, because it will take that extra. But get involved. You know, be willing to make mistakes though when appropriate, and work with it. And then you'll be learning a lot during this Mercury retrograde, because like I said, there is some redoing, rehashing that is needed for all of you in regards to that 10th house. Then on the 20th, we've got the Sun going into the 10th. So this is the passion. Okay, so I think there's a lot of creativity, a lot of passion. This is also where the Sun likes to be, at the 10th house. And so this is creative through work. It can be small business. It can be, just passion and enjoying the work, you know, and the Sun always illuminates. So there's a lot of understanding that's happening at the tail end of this month in regards to your 10th house. You're understanding more about it. You're understanding more about what motivates you, especially on the 27th when Mercury goes over Mars again. They're conjunct there on the 27th. And this is just like it was back last month in your 9th house, where you guys learned a lot about your life path or your travel or your expansion, your adventurous side, learning about what motivates you there. Now you're learning about what motivates you relating to the 10th house, work and career. Okay, so definitely a reflective time. But I think this can be a very motivating time in terms of your understanding about what your motivations are. Then on the 30th, we've got Mercury conjuncting the Sun retrograde, which means Mercury is in front, which means the intellect and understanding should be very high and very good at that time. So, so utilize it, and also some more insights can come to you at that time as well. So Leo, a lot of that emphasis on your 10th. There's definitely that shifting taking place here from the 9th into the 10th, and then also into the 11th too. So enjoy those friends and those groups and those network circles. But it's certainly a time for public related things. So put in the energy, reflect on it, be willing to work with the energy and redo some things there if needed. And and it should be a nice time for you in that department. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check the website down below. If you'd like a personal reading looking at your personal chart, please get in touch. You can check the website for that also. And the weeklies show the aspects. So this is a very general look at the month. So if you want a more detailed look, do check out the weeklies for this week, for this month, and it'll be more detailed and step by step. All right, so I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.